Hi friends, we are going to discuss the subject called engineering mechanics, and this discussion or this topic is being taught in this session particularly for the examinations of civil engineering graduates, that is the Kerala PSC examination, which is the assistant engineer examination conducted by Kerala PSC, and also the overseer examination conducted by Kerala PSC, and then the SSC junior engineer examination that is going to be conducted on a national level, and its prelims exam is going to be conducted in the month of March 2021. So we are primarily targeting these three examinations as a lot because the Kerala PSC examination will also be conducted in and around this time limit, and when you prepare for these examinations you must take a high-end preparation. Like another candidate is not able to answer a question, we must be able to answer this question. So we are going to discuss the subject of engineering mechanics and what is the importance of the subject of engineering mechanics. This subject is actually a very fundamental subject that you studied in your first year of engineering UG program. Why it is taught in first year is because this subject is actually the fundamental for various other important subjects. For example, a subject called MOS and another subject called structural analysis. These subjects are having various equations and usage of various equations that are fundamentally derived in the subject of engineering mechanics. Wherever you have forces, wherever you have movement, wherever you require analysis, then this subject will always come into effect. So that is the importance of the subject called engineering mechanics. And first we will go into the various chapters of engineering mechanics. So I have divided this subject into a number of chapters, and in the next slide we are going to discuss the chapters that we are going to go through in the subject of engineering mechanics. And when we go through these chapters, we will be giving a great importance to the areas which are regularly asked in the previous questions for the various sub-engineer examinations, various assistant engineer examinations, various junior engineering examinations, and also the various overseer examinations. So I will be giving emphasis to various portions, and then I suggest you have to take notes along with the subject, and you can also make a short note of important equations and important points such that on the eve of examination you will be having a handful of notes only that will make you easy for the referral of the various subjects that we are going to study under this preparation. So we are first going into the chapters of engineering mechanics. Chapter 1, I will be dealing with the force systems, where we will define what is a force and vector quantities and scalar quantities and examples of vector quantities and scalar quantities. There we will also define what is resolution of forces and composition of forces, and we will also study equilibrium of forces that will be ending with the Lami's theorem. In the second chapter we will go into structural analysis, where we will be defining and we will be solving or analyzing various structures primarily based on two techniques called the method of joints and the method of frames. So we will be discussing the two topics with respect to the structural analysis in chapter 2, and in chapter 3 we will be discussing rectilinear kinematics, because our subject engineering mechanics fundamentally deals broadly with the statics and dynamics. So in chapter 3 we will deal with the rectilinear kinematics. So in structural analysis, the techniques that we are using is method of joints and method of sections, which are used for analyzing various structures. So there we will use joint method, and we will also use section method, in which a truss will be cut and various analysis of force equations will be made. And in the third chapter we will make equations of rectilinear kinematics, which are linear equations with respect to displacement, velocity and acceleration. And in chapter 4 we will move into Newton's laws, which are the very fundamental laws of motion, including Newton's first law, Newton's second law, Newton's third law and Newton's law of gravitation. And in the chapter 4, we will also move slightly into Einstein's general theory of relativity and special theory of relativity, because Einstein's theory of relativity is an advanced form of Newton's laws, which gives explanation to various assumptions made by Newton and actually questions the very fundamental of certain Newton's laws, particularly the Newton's law of gravitation. So we will go into that areas in chapter 4, and in chapter 5 we will deal with impulse and momentum. And you all know that impulse is a large amount of force applied on a body for a very short duration of time. And we will deal with the momentum also in chapter 5, and in chapter 6 we will be discussing virtual work, and that is a special category of solution in which a infinitesimally small displacement will be considered in solving the problems on a simple note compared to conventional method of solution of problems in normal work analysis. Now we will slightly discuss the syllabus of engineering mechanics, and I have put the engineering mechanics syllabus in this way. As we will study in engineering mechanics, we will study the various system of forces, and if it is a combined system, then we will make its free body diagram for the simplicity of analysis. We can make equilibrium equations in the sense of sigma f of x is equal to 0, sigma f of y is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0, where equilibrium of forces is taken into consideration and equilibrium of moment is also taken into consideration. So we will be making equilibrium equations for solving various internal forces and external forces. Then we will also deal with internal forces in various structures like compression and tension. We will also deal with friction, and then kinematics, because we deal broadly with the statics and dynamics, where dynamics is again divided into kinetics and kinematics. So we will be also dealing with the kinematics of a point mass and a rigid body. We will discuss the Euler's equations of motion, then the impulse momentum principle, the energy methods with respect to kinetic energy and potential energy, and we will also discuss the principle of virtual work. So this is the general syllabus of engineering mechanics with respect to our preparation for the assistant engineer, a junior engineer, sub-engineer or the overseer examination. Now there are certain reference books. I have selected 3 references for the subject of engineering mechanics. This subject is going to contribute about 3 to 5 marks for your examination, or it can be plus or minus 2 marks, because the application of engineering mechanics can also come in various other subjects that I have already mentioned. So you sometimes it will be confusing, like the question is engineering mechanics or it is a structural analysis question. So the first book is Engineering Mechanics by R.K. Rajput. This is an Indian author book. And the third book is also an Indian author book, which is by R.K. Benson. So these 2 books are Indian authors, and the second book is a foreign book by Timoshenko. Okay, so that means the foreign book will be a little bit tough, particularly it will be a high-end book for the purpose of our preparation. It will be better that you go with the Indian authors, because Indian authors will give elaborate theory and also they will be giving you large number of sample questions. But the foreign books will be more tended towards concepts. So that means high-end concepts will be given. Once you know the base of the concepts, then it will be easy for you to deal these foreign books. So anyway, I have put these 3 books. You can have, sometimes you may be having any one of these books as a part of your first year preparation for the UG program, or else if you don't have a book, you can buy a book or you can get the book from some other of your friends. And even if you don't have a book, that is not a problem, because if you follow the classes tightly, we will be dealing with all the theory portions and we will be making you do a large number of practice questions and also the previous questions, large number of previous questions for about last 25 to 30 years in various assistant engineer examinations, sub-engineer examinations, junior engineer examinations and various overseer draftsman examinations. So it will be better that you follow the classes tightly. Okay, so with this we are going to finish the syllabus discussion of the subject of engineering mechanics. I suggest all of you come into the preparation, and from the next slide onwards we are going to start with the chapters of engineering mechanics, and I will be starting with the first chapter, which is force systems.